Alright guys, today we're talking about a game changer in card grading, why you might actually want to send your cards to CGC instead of PSA. If you ever put a near perfect card, only to get hit with that brutal PSA 9 instead of a 10, this video is for you. Grading cards add value, protection, and credibility. A high grade card can turn a decent pull into a serious investment, but not all grading companies score the same way. Most companies use a 1 to 10 scale, and while that seems simple enough, here's the thing. Not all 10s are created equally. A PSA 10, TGS 10, and CGC 10 all have different standards, and here's where the strategy comes in. So what if I told you that some of those cards that just missed a PSA 10 might actually land a CGC 10? That's exactly what we're diving into today. How to maximize your grades by sending the right cards to CGC instead of PSA. Let's get into it. So we're sending 9 cards to CGC today. Well, 9 English cards. They're in a variety of different conditions and centering, so not everything here will necessarily get a pristine 10. That's not the goal anyway. But yeah, we'll just go through the cards to sort of see what the cards are like before we send them and see if my predictions for the grades are right. So first we have this Lugia here. As you can see, it's pretty off-centered. So just take it out of the sleeve and ring sleeve. You can see that the bottom's it's very bottom heavy actually, so this is definitely not getting a PSA 10. But other than the centering, it's actually a very mint card, so I don't want to get a PSA 9, so I'm sending it to CGC, hoping to get a CGC 9.5 or even a CGC 10, because like I said, the condition of the card is actually just amazing. So yeah, it might get a 10, might get a 9.5. We'll see how it goes. And the second card here we have our first Giratina. But yeah, unfortunately the centering is actually not that perfect on this card. And there's also not sure if it picks up the camera, but there's a scratch here on the left edge. And there's also a bit of surface. There's like a ding here. So I don't think this is getting a PSA 10, so hoping to get a 9.5 at CGC. And next we have our second Giratina. Well, like as you can see here, it's similar to the Lugia. The centering is actually horrible here as well. Like this is not a PSA 10 centering, so similar to Lugia. Very good card condition, but centering is the only issue, so we're going to CGC as well. And on our third and last Giratina here, this card actually also looks pretty good, but as you can see here, there's a bit of a crease here, like a dent here. That's probably crimped by a one-touch case or I think most likely gonna be a subpar grading company, like plenty of those like shitty grading companies out there. But yeah, unfortunately some companies don't know how to encase their cards, so some cards are damaged, but it's just a bit of surface sort of imperfection here. But PSA actually hates these surface damages a lot, so I don't think there's a chance of getting them, so I'm sending it to CGC. There's also a bit of, like, not a bit, quite a lot of surface scratches here, so that's also why I think it's not getting a PSA 10, and I'm sending it to CGC as well. Right, so we're halfway through. We've got a Pikachu here, similar to one of the Giratinas and Lugia. Not PSA 10 centering, but pretty good conditions otherwise. Bit of a ding here on the edge here, but it's actually pretty good, but not good enough for PSA 10 because of centering. So for the first 5 cards, we're not aiming to get pristine 10s, but so we're just trying to get a CGC 9.5 or a CGC 10 on these ones. because these are not getting a PSA 10 at all, and only a PSA 9 at max. For the next two cards here, we're aiming to get a pristine grade actually. So when we look at this Kingdra, I feel like it has pretty good centering, 50-50. Well, now that I look at it on camera, it might be a bit left heavy, but maybe a bit bottom heavy as well. But okay, maybe this is not a pristine card, but just anyway, because it still has a pretty good chance of getting a pristine 10. So we're sending this. And then for the second copy here, the centering, I feel like it's a bit better. Yeah, pretty much 50-50 on top, bottom, and left, right. Just pretty good condition. Maybe like there's like a print line here. It's not even a print line, it's more like a scratch from the printing factory, so it's actually not perfect. But I also just noticed there's a bit of this bent here, so actually this might not be this is not a pristine 10 material, but I can't be bothered to take this out from the part because I already done all the paperwork, so this be like a nice little experiment. And we've got this Raikou here, pretty mediocre centering as well. So yeah, and the back is pretty much perfect, surface wise, corner wise, edge wise, pretty good. Last but not least, we've got this Glaceon here from Evolving Skies. Again, pretty awful centering. Aiming to get a 10, just a regular 10, because this is not gonna be pristine. So yeah, we're recording this on the 15th of January, and we'll see you when we get these cards back from CGC. So we just got the cards back from CGC today. Unfortunately, I already know the grades because you can check them online before they actually send them out to you. But all I could say is the grades are pretty good, and I can't wait to show you guys. So first off, we have this Lugia here. I remember the main issue on most of these cards were centering, and which is so bad that they cannot get a PSA 10. And the first one here, the centering is actually, well, it's abysmal, bro. Like, you can tell, top, bottom, like, holy thick bottom edge, bro. But other than that, corners are clean, edges are clean, and got a 10. And next up we have one of 3 Giratinas we sent. Actually the centering of this one doesn't look too bad. Maybe this will cross a PSA 10. I don't know. It's not the best, but a teeny tiny bit off-centered, maybe like 60, 40, which, by the way, now PSA says this does not get you a PSA 10 at all. So yeah, just got a 10, regular 10 from CGC. And the next one here, we have one of these rotated cards where the centering, the card's not even aligned with the border. So you see the edge here is relatively thin compared to the bottom here. And I'm actually surprised it's got a 10. Back's fine. And the last Giratina here, another 10. That's right. The one with the crimp mark here, if you can still see my thumbs. This got a 10. I'm very surprised with this one. Like, the centering is not great. Edges are fine. But yeah, with this centering and this surface damage here, like slight crimp here, kind of crazy this got a 10. Next up we have Pikachu. in a 10 as well. Another one of those OC cards, but the back is pretty clean other than this super tiny dot here. This one's just pull cutting from the factory, but it's actually fine. But yeah, just a bit of a ding here on the corner and pull centering. Gets you a 10. Got a Kingdra from Shroud of Fable. Not much to say about this. Ding on the top here, and ding on it. Well, it's like super microscopically tiny on both corners, so I'm sure that's fine. The next one, not so lucky, got an 8.5. Not sure why I just got a 9.5, probably because of print line here, probably the edges as well. Pretty sure there's some surface scuffing here as well that I missed when I graded this. Can't really complain with all the other grades here. Next we've got a Crown Zenith Raikou, again an OC card, but got a 10. And last but not least, we have a Evil Skies Glaceon, which unfortunately got a 9, probably because of this scuff mark here on the edge, and obviously the centering as well. So all in all, I'm very surprised, well, pleasantly surprised with the grades here. Can't believe all the Big 5 old arts got 10s, but can't be complaining. Again, this is not CGC slander or whatever. It just shows that CGC and PSA have different standards, and what normally wouldn't get you a PSA 10 would probably end up in a PSA 10 here. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. I hope this video was helpful in some sort of way. Thanks again for watching, and see you next video. Peace.